The most fascinating man in media is Pat McAfee, and it has nothing to do with the content of his show. In fact, I haven't watched his show of late. I'm doing a radio show in Indianapolis between noon and 3, and frankly, he's doing his show between noon and 3. So I don't have time to watch, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. That's not what makes him interesting. What makes McAfee interesting is that he is carving his own path, and he's very loud about it. Let me give you a little background. When guys go to ESPN, you kind of got to genuflect to Building 4. About, 4 or 5 floors up is all the HMFICs. Head Mother Hubbard's in charge, baby. That's right. The Norby Williamsons of the world, the Stephanie Druleys of the world, all the people who have the big stock options live in Building 4, 4th floor. I don't think it's 7th floor, but anyway. Those are the people that run the joint, but it's really changed a little bit, hasn't it? It changed with Stephen A. Smith getting himself ingrained in the, I'm black, you got to have me, I'm good, you got to have me, I get ratings, you got to have me, the whole mix. I'm a social justice warrior, you made me, but now I'm bigger than you think. And then came McAfee, and he's a big umbrella over all of it. I mean, Pat is his own executive producer. Pat has taken on Norby Williamson, one of the most powerful men at ESPN. He has called him a rat, among other things. Well, yesterday on the Dope Smoking Idiot show, which is what I'm going to call it, between two brothers from the NBA that smoke weed and act like they're still cool, and Stephen A. Smith, I don't know. I remember Dungy saying he lived next to Stephen A. Smith, and the guns and the stupid were running rampant. So it's Dumb and Dumber is the show that he was on. But Pat McAfee doubled down on all of it, and I am so here for it. Let's hear from the great one.
Because I'm the executive producer of my show. I report directly to Jimmy and Bob. So I'm not really viewing anybody as, like I saw everybody like Pat calls out his boss. I'm going to boss. What are we, what are we, Jim Pitaro? Are we talking Jimmy Pitaro or Bob Iger? Like, is that who we're talking about? Because those are people that could technically be described as my boss. And like Burke Magnus as well, and I have a great relationship with him. But I think even Burke would say we have a good like we are talking like this as opposed to like this. And so that was just a warning shot to, I thought, a person that was, at the same, which is hilarious because he's the former president of the place. I guess a lot of people had a lot of fear of him. I did not. Right. I do not have, that guy left me sitting in his office for 45 minutes, no-showed me when I was supposed to have a meeting with him, right? When 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever.
No-showed you.
No-showed, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
and you remember that.
What's that?
And you remember that.
This thing's a elephant brain, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah. I am. Yeah, I got everybody's. Yeah. And he also banned all my friends from coming on my show. So really? there was a ban of ESPN talent on my show on YouTube that came directly from him, which so much so that I started a hashtag ESPN stinks the day that everybody got banned from my show. So lucky to be here, we get access, and then immediately it's like, this guy sucks. This guy's ruining ESPN. And it's not coming from people outside ESPN. It was coming from people within ESPN. And I did not expect that at all. So I immediately okay, I'm in war. Like if that's what we're doing, we're in war. And then once you start learning about going behind scenes, things that are being said to people, things that are being leaked, the timing in which they're being leaked, it's like, oh, they're trying to kill me. Like they're trying to make our show impossible to advertise with. They're trying to make sure people don't watch our show. Like, as I started learning that, I'm like, all right, well, that's not going to I don't know how this has gone in the past with other people.
It ain't going here.
But, yeah, this particular white trash kid from Pittsburgh, like, hey, Suits, this is not.
I like it. I do. Hey, I got to tell you, you got to understand how different that is at ESPN. See, ESPN right now holds the layoffs over the heads of employees, and they have for a long time. Like back when I was at ESPN, they came to everybody, said, hey, we need everybody to take a 10% cut. And you're sitting there going, well, if I don't take a 10% cut, I know there's layoffs coming. So everybody take a 10% cut, or at least most of us did. I wish looking back now I really hadn't, but I did. But long story short, McAfee isn't involved in that. You want to lay him off, he'll just go back to his old deal. But the truth of the matter is McAfee needs to be a little bit careful. And I'm a friend of Pat's, kind of. And I think he needs to be a little bit careful because, frankly, he's very popular now. And he's very good now. And he'll maintain that, I would think. But, man, things can come crashing down. Isaiah Thomas famously said, be nice to the people as you're climbing your way up because invariably as you're coming down, you're going to run into those same people. Now, hey, look, maybe Pat's exempt from that. Maybe Pat's immune to that. Seems like he is because he's become his own boss. But if Pat would ask me, and I don't think he should, he's got his own thing, he's got his own deal going, I'd tread a little bit lightly. I would try not to get caught up. Look, you're a white dude. You want real here? You're a white dude. You're sitting with two ex-NBA brothers. You're feeling like, hey, I'm getting down with these guys, right? So you get a little loose. I get it. But I would just say, man, just tread a little bit carefully because you never know what's around the next corner. The things for Pat around the next corner have been great because Pat is great. Because Pat is smarter than anybody in the media. Pat has more balls than anybody in the media. Pat has more money. I'm not going to say than anybody in the media, but he made a lot of money in a lot of different ways before he ever went to Indiana or before he ever went to ESPN. But you got to be careful to a certain degree. You can keep calling out your boss. You can keep calling out Norby Williamson, but Norby Williamson, Jimmy Pitino, and Bob Iger are friends, longtime friends. Norby Williamson was the president. I'm guessing he and Iger have a great relationship. You just got to be a little bit careful. And Norby Williamson isn't a bad guy. Norby Williamson isn't a good guy. When I left ESPN, Norby called me, and he's like, hey, man, hate to see you go. I said, yeah, well, you know what? You know the deal. I actually had to do this once with Norby Williamson. I might as well tell the story now. They told us about tweeting. So Dane Fife and one of his buddies, Brad Clapper, we were going back and forth on tweets about a game or something. And I said, stop it, Clapper. You are Fife's DSB. Richard sucking boy. Okay? All right? So I didn't say what it was. I just said DSB. I'm in Columbus getting ready for the Michigan-Ohio State game. I think that was the game. I get a call from Lee Fitting, who's a friend. Lee Fitting was just under Williamson. Hey, Dan, we got a problem. I go, what are you talking about? No problem. Yeah, your tweet the other night, DSB, what's that stand for? And I'm like, I started lying. I forget what I told Fitting. But I'm lying through my teeth, right? I am lying like hell. Fitting ain't necessarily buying it. Hell, I ain't necessarily buying it. But I thought to myself, I don't give a rat's ass whether they buy it or not. I just want to get through this and do the game. Next thing you know, the conversation continues. My man tells me, you got to call Norby. I'm like, what, are you crazy? I got a game in an hour. I called Norby. Got to call Norby because of a tweet that said DSB. It didn't say the word. It said DSB. I get on the phone with Norby. Hey, Norby, what's the problem, man? Well, you know, we have this policy. I'm like, okay. What's that tweet? I go, it stands for something, something, something. It's between me, a former player at Indiana, and his buddy. And I thought to myself, man, you guys are out of your mind. I actually thought to myself, are you guys trying to get me the hell out of here? Turned out that wasn't the case. But that's the thing at ESPN. See, what McAfee would have done was say, yeah, I ain't telling you nothing. Screw you. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that because I was a contracted employee. McAfee's the executive producer. And McAfee is smarter than anybody. And this is a lesson in business. Don't be Norby Williamson and cede all the control to an employee. Don't be Jimmy Pitino and cede all the employee or all of the control to an employee. The truth of the matter is, if you want the truth, you really want the truth, and this is the way I think. Pat doesn't think this way. ESPN could tomorrow say, hey, Pat, you're done. we're going to put SportsCenter on. Hey, Pat, you're done. Go out and find somebody else to do College Game Day, and guess what's going to happen? ESPN will be just fine. That's in the back of my mind if I were Pat. But good for Pat. He don't think that way. Great for Pat. He don't think that way. But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that on the television from noon to 3, that Pat or any show would make a bigger difference between that and SportsCenter. Of course it would. Of course it would. People have watched SportsCenter for years. You tell me, game day, you put on, I don't even know who put on Amanda, what's her name? Amanda something, the hot girl. Put her on. Look, we don't watch. Are you crazy? Get rid of some of the baggage, tighten the show up, and you're fine. That's how I look at it. But I'm not sure I'm right. And good for Pat, man. I love following this. It's one of my favorite things to follow. One of my least favorite things to follow is college basketball transfer portal. Little snot-nosed 18 to 23-year-olds that are so important. Actually, my least favorite thing to follow in college basketball is recruits that say, I'm blessed to have received an offer. After talking with Coach Woodson, I've received an offer from Indiana. You just want to smack them. You do. You just want to smack guys that put that out there. Well, why you want to smack little kids? They ain't little kids. They're jackasses. Anyway, I digress. But Rick Pitino, he's not happy at all. He's not happy at all with the transfer portal. And you know what? Nobody's happy with the transfer portal if you're a coach. Thank you, Lee. If you're a coach, you don't like the transfer portal because you don't want to restock your team every year. And college basketball, football, college sports is the only sport in America, the only group of sports where every single year players are free agents. Think about Major League Baseball. Guys have contract years to get to be free agents. Think about football. Guys have contract years to get to be free agents. It's ridiculous what's going on in college basketball. And any coach that supports it is a lying, thieving, cheating prick. I'm sorry. They are. They have nothing, absolutely nothing in terms of integrity, in terms of really helping kids. But hey, that's okay because most of these coaches are making more money than they could possibly make. If you've ever talked to a coach, really talk to coaches, you understand most really want what's right for kids. Now, the media is not going to tell you that. The media is going to tell you, well, they're money grubbing. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're really not. Now, people aren't hurting kids by telling them you got to sit out a year if you transfer. That's good for a kid. Kid doesn't know it at the time, but kids aren't supposed to know it at the time. Every single player that transferred into Bowling Green and had to sit a year out said it was the best year of their life to set them up for the rest of their life. So don't at me with crap. All right, here's Pitino. You're going to see what I'm talking about the day after Selection Sunday. It's going to get to the point somebody's going to take them, the NCAA, to court that they want to transfer mid-season to play. You know, back when we started this show, I actually said that. When this thing got hot, I said to myself, I wonder if we'll ever see a person, because there is no sit-out period, that just dropped 20 at Bowling Green, call up Indiana and say, yo, I want to join the squad. I want to play in the big leagues. Like, you drop 20 in a holiday tournament, right? But the conference season doesn't start until after the semester's over. So you drop 20 in, I don't know, mid-December. Exams finish up the 20th of December. And now you're like, wait a second here. I want to go join Wisconsin's team because they're struggling. They need a guy like me. And you transfer in the season. Pitino is 1,000% right. I would bet money you're going to see this. I would bet you are going to see this within the next, I'll say, 3 years. I can't wait to see that too. All right, here's what Pitino went on to say. I didn't play Peyton Siva or Russ Smith as freshmen at Louisville. I think Peyton played a few minutes. We developed them into a national championship team. So the thing that's disturbed me so much is what's going on, and I don't like this talk, even amongst my coaching staff about, okay, let's look at this player from this school or this school right now because I hear they're going in the portal. I hate that. You know why when I say this is the unhappiest I've been in a season? You know why? It's because of that. Seton Hall game. I was very calm at that press conference. It's because of the state of college basketball. It's not the game I've loved for 50 years, 48 years, whatever it may be. Yeah, well, stop that end. That end's crap. That end's garbage. He's still apologizing to his players and apologizing to the nation. See, Rick Pitino should never apologize. You're Rick Pitino. You're 75 years old. You got FU money. I swear to God, maybe I make life too simple. Maybe I do. See, I'm only 61, and I don't have FU money, but I'm close. Not FU, but, hey, I can live comfortably. And now I got an outlet where I can say what I truly feel. And if somebody writes an article, somebody gets mad, good for you. I don't understand why Pitino's still crying about what he said the other day. Now, the other part, he's right. However, you can sit there and talk about the great old days of Peyton Siva and Russ Smith. You can do that, and that's fantastic. But that day is over. It's gone. It's done. And anytime you want to wax philosophic, we'll certainly talk about it on this show because we have absolute great respect for Rick Pitino. I think he is the second best coach that I personally ever coached against. Best is Roy Williams. But I digress. The story in college sports is simple. I'm going to give you a little background. You got your recruiting board. You got class of 2024, class of 2025 and 26. And over here, the most important class, transfer portal. And what you have to do, and this is what really stinks, you got to involve stone idiots. You got to involve the dumbest of the dumb. The street AAU guy. The street AAU guy, I coached AAU at the highest level for about 6-7 years. The street AAU guy is the dumbest human being alive. They're almost not human beings. They're so full of shit that they actually have brown stuff coming out of their eyes. It oozes from their pores, these guys. But because they're the AAU guy and they're down with the brothers and the players, you got to deal with them. So you got to call them, and you got to say, hey, is Joey Bag of Donuts from Seton Hall thinking about transferring? Let me know. You got to call him. Hey, is CJ Gunn from Indiana thinking about transferring? Now, that would be a school like Wabash, Division III, that would take that guy. But, hey, you get my point. It's a cesspool of crap. However, why do we care? Why do we care? I don't care. I only care. That's not true. I only care because my son is in it. But I'm looking at my son at 28, 29 years old, and we talk about every day, and I'm like, dude, particularly when they were losing, you're making more money right now. You got a car for free. You got no expenses. You know what? You're a Dakich. There's not much you can do. I mean, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to solve the world climate change crisis? No. Coach, you don't want to be out on the road selling. You don't want to be in a cubicle. You want, go, coach, shut up. And he doesn't complain about it. Now he's like, oh, you're right. This is the greatest deal ever. But anyway, long story short, Pitino is not wrong. He is absolutely not wrong. And college athletics is a cesspool. But you know what I do? I watch it every night, and every night college basketball delivers. Every single night. A couple days ago, Wisconsin's playing at Indiana, and Jamal Bowman showed up. Well, not really. Jamal Bowman, he being just complete dumbass. I mean, I love when Jamal Bowman or that guy Johnson from Georgia talk because they're so stupid. You sit there and you go, wow, huh? A lot of dumb here. Well, Jamal Bowman, famous. Remember, he pulled the fire alarm to stop a vote in the Senate. Nothing happened to him because, well, he's African-American. Nothing's going to happen to him. He can do whatever he wants in the Senate. An African-American senator who's loudly African-American, Hey, look, every white dude in America is going to back down. That's what happened. Bowman faced nothing. He gave some half-baked apology because he was probably high. You got to be high or just stupid to go pull a fire alarm in the Senate. But, hey, that's the kind of stupid we have in our country. Well, apparently, somebody, Jamal Bowman-ish, showed up in the assembly hall at Indiana University earlier this week. Wisconsin is going up against Indiana, and Indiana takes a 15-point lead. Second half starts. End of the first half. No, wait. Yeah, second half. All of a sudden, whoa, it's tied. It's tied. Jamal Bowman-ish. Alarm goes off. What kind of alarm? Fire alarm. What? Fire alarms in the 17,200-plus fans had to evacuate. Now, Indiana stinks, and Indiana fans know it, so there's like 13,000 in there, but there's still a lot of people to evacuate. So they're out. Apparently, a fire or a smoke was in an elevator. I'm sure one of the fellas was smoking weed, or one of the old folks there was smoking cigarettes because they were jonesing. But anyway, apparently there was smoke in an elevator, triggered the alarm, everybody left. I call bullshit. I say Mike Woodson, the head coach at Indiana, sent his Jamal Bowman-like assistant or manager or trainer or clandestine buddy to yank on a fire alarm. I'm guessing at Assembly Hall, unlike with Jamal Bowman, there is no video of the guy pulling the alarm. I'm guessing this was clandestine. You can't pin it on Woodson, but it's a pretty slick move for a coach. Well, the game was over. The game was over, and Greg Gard, the head coach of Wisconsin, had something to say about it. Here's what he said.
Fire alarm stoppage. Have you encountered anything like that before? Just what were you being told in those moments, and how do you handle that with your team?
I thought it was a great timeout for whoever from Indiana pulled the fire alarm for them because they were making a run. We had a little time in the locker room, not as much as what they originally had told us, and then you get 5 minutes to go warm back up and go play. So it was kind of like having two half times.
Probably right. I had Wisconsin, and people are mad. Here, let's see from Twitter, because he's getting dragged on Twitter. Oh, maybe the fire alarm was foreshadowing of what is going to happen to Gard. Oh, shut up. Look, Wisconsin folks, including my boy Hookstead, be careful what you wish for. So, Borden, I hate this guy. Laugh my ass off. IUBB. I mean, the IU basketball fan, the Twitter IU basketball fan, isn't really an IU basketball fan. Like this guy Borden or others, they're not really there to be IU basketball fans. They're just there to be stupid. They're there to be stupid. The Twitter IU basketball fan is just simply there to be stupid. Gard doesn't exactly exude sense of humor, but he was being funny. He didn't mean that Indiana pulled the fire alarm. He was making a joke. And every idiot at Indiana, because Indiana has stunk ever since I left in 97 and stunk worse ever since I left in 08. And it's true. Anyway, every little Indiana fan is so insecure. Oh, my God. See, Indiana fans and Indiana players used to be above it. We used to be above a barb, certainly from Wisconsin. When I was at Indiana for 16 years, we were 31-1 against Wisconsin. So if Wisconsin wanted to make a joke, we're like, hey, I don't know what to tell you. We're 31-1 against you. You're right. We needed a fire alarm this time. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, Gard was just making a joke. And because he looks like that, because he looks like your angry math teacher, guess what? People don't get the joke. If you look like me, I deliver a joke nice. Hey, two guys walked into a bar. Third one ducked. Bada bing! You know what I mean? But Gard doesn't really deliver it that way. He was a former deputy sheriff. He's been a Division III coach. He worked for Bo Ryan. He's been a terrific coach. Been coach of the year in the Big Ten a couple times. Wisconsin fans that are all mad at Gard, well, maybe you're going to get fired. Well, you know what? Be careful what you wish for. Wisconsin is one bad hire away from going back to 31-1 again, 1-31 against Indiana and others. Dick Bennett saved that entire basketball world, the state, the colleges. Dick Bennett made Division III, and then he made Wisconsin basketball, and Wisconsin was smart enough to continue that legacy with Bo Ryan, smart enough to continue that legacy with Greg Gard. Be careful what you wish for, you morons at Wisconsin. Eat your cheese curds, drink your spotted cow, and shut the hell up about your basketball program. Your basketball program is one bad hire, one little Steve Yoder hire away from being crap again, where all of a sudden the students don't show. The Kohl Center is cold and icy. Don't give me none of this crap. Dick Bennett saved it. Bo Ryan enhanced it. Greg Gard has maintained it. Now, I live by a motto. One of my mottos, other than sack up, other than no good deed goes unpunished, is this. Be careful what you wish for. Be very, very careful. I mean, I don't know. That Chris guy doesn't look so bad after what happened this past year with Luke Fickell in football. Maybe y'all ought to just shut up. Just saying. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Yikes. Loser comment. Show that one. Can we show the yikes loser comment? Look at Ryan Hoffman. Now, here's what I do. So I look up Ryan Hoffman wouldn't know a winner comment from a loser comment. Ryan Hoffman, I would argue, what's that? Put that back up there, will you? I want to see who Ryan Hoffman is. This is where I get in trouble. It's Hoffman _82. Let's talk about Hoffman _82. When I do my radio show, they always say, don't say anybody's name. Well, you know what? I'm going to see who this guy is. Look at this. Let's see. So he's a Badger fan. Oh, he took a picture with Jordan Spieth. I guarantee you, he talks like this. I can tell. Here's the picture of Ryan Hoffman. Let me explain something to you. When Ryan Hoffman, that's a picture. All right? That's Jordan Spieth. Let me tell you the loser. The loser is a dude who has to put up a picture of him with another dude that's more successful than him. That's it. You take a picture of another dude that's more successful than you, and you cheese it at 20 years old, and you put it on your freaking profile there. No, son, that's a loser comment. That's a loser life. That's a loser picture. Get off Greg Gard's ass, punk. I hate young guy. Loser comment. God, it's a loser, but I'm going to take my picture with Rory or Spieth or Jordan, and I can't believe I got to talk to Jordan. No, dude. I mean, do yourself a favor. Grow a penis, walk like a man, and get serious about your life. Jesus Christ. Dudes that never been in the arena, like this Hoffman guy, can kiss my ass. There, I said it. I meant it. We got Doug Gottlieb coming up. We got Trey Wallace coming up. We got our good friend Haley coming up. We got a monster today. Hey, great news in the great state of Indiana last night. It has nothing to do with the great state of Indiana. I don't know if you saw this, but Caitlin Clark, don't tell anybody, but Caitlin Clark announced that she is entering the WNBA draft. Now, my first reaction was, why would you do that now? Like, you're getting a lot of attention. There's really no reason for you to do anything now. Why don't you just win a national championship, declare for the draft, drop the mic, and walk around? But apparently, Caitlin Clark felt the need now. Here's her announcement from last night or yesterday evening. She announced yesterday evening, Hawkeye Nation, the season is far from over, and we have a lot of goals to achieve. It will be my last one at Iowa. I'm excited to be entering the NBA draft. Now, the other stuff I don't care about. I don't care about none of it. All I want to know is, are you entering the NBA draft? Dan, why do you care? I'll tell you why I care. I live in the great city of Indianapolis. The Indianapolis Fever actually have people working for them like Lynn Dunn that I really like. Well, guess who has the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft? The Indiana Fever. Guess who's going to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft? Caitlin Clark. Put it together. That means Caitlin Clark is coming to the Indiana Fever, which means the Indiana Fever will have someone to watch, and it's fun. Tamika Catchings was here, and she was really good. Big old Boston is here, and she was the Rookie of the Year. But I'm not going to lie to you. I went to a game. I sat first row when they played in the WNBA Finals. I only follow winners. I'm not going to your game if you're bad. In fact, I don't call my friends when they lose. I don't want to talk to anybody when they lose. Why would I want to talk to anybody when they lose? Not me. No. Caitlin Clark coming to Indiana is a city changer because women are crazy. Women in Iowa are really crazy. Iowa's 4 or 5 hours. I used to drive it when I did games. I'd get out of my show at 3, get in the car, drive to Iowa City, do a game the next day, drive back that night. It's not a great drive, particularly in the winter. It's not a terrible drive. But folks between Iowa and Indianapolis, including Illinois and Indiana, love Caitlin Clark. What's not to love? She's affable. She's heterosexual. She's funny. She's not afraid. Her game sells. She's not one of these mean, nasty Cheryl Swoops, I'm mad at the world lesbians, although Cheryl Swoops apparently is not. No. She's well-spoken. She's pretty. What the hell? I say the same thing about a dude, so stop it. I always told Steve Alford, and I said it publicly, one of the things you're popular is you're a good-looking dude. So just shut up with the whole thing about, well, why would you say she's pretty? Because I think she is. I like her. I do. And I like the fact that she dates Connor McCaffrey. But I love the fact that she's coming to Indy. I've told you this. When you get to my age, like at younger age, you're like, hey, you can make anything fun. My guys, the Flying Knicks and Knicks, you give them an off day, and they're going to find some fun. They're going to be in the middle of something. You get to be 61. You know what my night's going to be tonight? This is my night at 61. Hey, Lee, after my show, I'm going to take a nap because I didn't sleep well last night. And then we're going to go play 9 holes on a golf simulator and have a couple beers. Seriously. The Flying Knicks and Knicks are like, hey, I heard there's a hell of a deal at Billy's. And we're going to pregame at my place. And then we're going to Billy's. We're going to catch the Knicks game. We're going to go to so-and-so, and then there's a rave after, an after party, and then we're going to get in a mosh pit, and next thing you know, it's going to be 7 in the morning, and I'm going to take a nap. And I'm going to roll over, and there's going to be like dudes and women spewing everywhere. It's Caligula, these guys. I long for those days. No, I really don't, but, so there you go. So what does that mean with Caitlin Clark? Well, I want something to do. Hey, Lee, you want to go to the Fever game? Caitlin Clark's balling tonight. Let's go see it. That angry lesbian, Diana Taurasi's coming to town against Caitlin Clark. Who doesn't want to see an angry lesbian take on a rookie? All we need is Megan Rapinoe. I will say this, and I will tell this to Caitlin Clark's people who I know watch the show. If Caitlin Clark involves herself with Megan Rapinoe, I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. If I see Sue Bird sniffing around, I'm out. America's angry lesbians, get your hands off Caitlin Clark. Get away from Caitlin Clark. Stop it. Look, if you're an angry lesbian and you're a professional athlete in your 30s, how miserable are you going to be in your 60s? Stop it. Caitlin Clark, you go, girl. I'm going to have someone say, well, that's bigoted. No, it's truth. I live a real life. I judge people by the content of their character, not who they shtup. You go, Caitlin Clark. You go, girl. Keyshawn Johnson went racist yesterday. Now, I don't know if he really went racist, but what the hell? Every black guy says anytime you every black guy tells white guys every time you criticize an African-American player that the white dude's racist. So I'm going to do the same thing. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Keyshawn Johnson kind of, sort of. See, I think the Flying Knicks are a little bold with this rips on. Yeah, rips on's not bad. Keyshawn Johnson, he's not going to get in trouble because he's African-American. But the truth of the matter is Keyshawn Johnson body shamed. Yes, he did. Keyshawn Johnson body shamed Luka Doncic. And I'm sad about it. Oh, my God. If we spun it the other way, if a white dude said that a brother was fat, oh, my God, the brother would be like, you're so racist. But white dudes, we just go, yeah, well, you're an idiot. That's what I do anyway. Yeah, well, you're a white dude, you're saying stupid, you're an idiot. Black dude saying you're an idiot. Keyshawn Johnson's an idiot. Let's be honest, he is. But here's what he had to say about Luka Doncic.
You can't even begin to think that a Luka can catch him because it's not going to happen. Luka's scoring, but Luka's not. First of all, Luka looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
I agree.
And that dude looked like a goddess. So it's taken LeBron 21 years to get to 40,000. Luka ain't going to play 21 years at the same level.
You're almost certainly right about that.
He's not.
Yeah.
At that level that LeBron is playing,
So the Pillsbury Doughboy is a big white guy. Can you imagine if a white guy said something about, I don't know, an athlete and equated him to a big black thing, whatever that big black thing is? Can you imagine? But Keyshawn Johnson's just stupid. He's a self-involved, self-important guy that had a show and it was horrible, and now he's bringing down Skip Bayless like it's the Titanic. But I don't really care. I know that guys are idiots, whether they're white or black, but it is fascinating to me that guy, that African-American guy, is talking about a white dude, and he uses Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm just trying to be like all of you. I am. I'm just trying to be like all of you when the opposite happens, bitching, whining, and moaning about really nothing. I could care less. Keyshawn Johnson could say Dan Dakich is the most handsome man, the best athlete in the history of the world. I could care less. Keyshawn Johnson could say, but I am spending time on it, aren't I? Well, I'll tell you why I'm spending time. Because it's story number 5 here, and we had audio. And sometimes I just like to break up me talking with some audio. So you give me some audio, you give me my Serbian brother, and you give me a racist brother, black guy. That's a pretty good segment. Not bad. It's what we do here. That has it all. My Serbian brother, African-American dude being racist. Pretty good segment.